Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode on Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Dave Filoni giving us some insights onto the decision he made about Anakin's eyes being visible through Darth Vader at the end of the Clone Wars. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. The Clone Wars has finally wrapped up its 7th final bombastic season, and it went out with something truly emotional. We got that last scene where we got that Darth Vader arc at the end, where we just get that one touch of Anakin essentially mourning Ahsoka, and the brilliance of that scene and the tug of the heartstrings that we got from that was so excellent, and I think a lot of us were wondering if we were actually going to get to see Darth Vader in this final season at some point. Dave Filoni is such a genius when it comes to Star Wars. He is essentially the next George Lucas when it comes to Star Wars. I believe he's the closest with George, as I'm sure a lot of Star Wars fans will typically agree. If you ask them who they want to take over running Star Wars next, Dave Filoni is the obvious choice, and he, in my opinion, should be doing it right now anyway. But with that being the case, Dave Filoni just continues to lay out these brilliant insights that he has into his crafting of these fantastic stories. And he was asked the following question in an interview with Nerdist, where he kind of gives us some detail on the fact that Darth Vader's eyes are visible at the end of the Clone Wars final moments. The question was this. The first fan question I have is about Anakin and Ahsoka. She says, "In the final scene, you can clearly see Anakin/Vader's eyes. I was reminded of Twilight of the Apprentice, in which you had talked about that it had to be Anakin looking on Ahsoka when she slices away the mask and he says her name. I was wondering if the decision to make Anakin/Vader's eyes visible in victory and death came from a similar place of inspiration." That came from Abigail Puhala on Twitter via Nerdist. And Dave's response goes as follows. "It's about, first of all, I make sure it jives with the rest of Star Wars. If you watch In A New Hope, I was always fascinated as a kid how you could kind of see somebody in there through the red lenses. It's just really interesting to take this person who seems so lacking of humanity and realize there's a person in there. So again, taking it from the point of view of somebody that's never interacted with the show before, this young man you see at the beginning of this 4-part arc, who is the older brother, who's the hero who gives her this lightsaber, you have to connect. If you have no idea who Darth Vader is, the dark-clad knight at the end of the episode is that young man. It connects some things that are chilling, because then you realize that all things that Darth Maul said were true. That Ahsoka's lack of ability to accept the points to how she's still flawed. She has things she needs to overcome. There are no simple answers. And so I had to draw these parallels, and one of them was I needed you to see humanity within that dark armor. So it was just a subtle way to connect to the humanity. You deal with these themes in different stories, and they are going to connect sometimes, but sometimes not. So it is a good connection then to Rebels when you see the slash in the eye. I didn't plan to that detail. I do try to plan for a lot of detail, but I think it's more about the humanity that's inside the armor and connecting that with what was once her mentor, her brother, and that he's picked the weapon back up. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Dave Filoni is such a genius. He's like, I believe Bryce Dallas Howard in the Mandalorian Gallery said that Dave Filoni is essentially just a walking Star Wars encyclopedia, which obviously is true. And you can tell that if you watch any interview with Dave Filoni, if you just kind of observe what he says for at least 30 seconds, you know that this guy definitely knows what he's doing, he knows what he wants, he knows what he's going for. And talking about that detail in Rebels, if you notice, he said he didn't even try to do that, offhand like that. He was essentially just going for the humanity. But this guy is so well versed in his own work that he ended up putting that detail in there anyway, without making that the main point of what he was actually trying to do. And the fact that he's able to connect these two characters in such striking parallels is just remarkable, and all the more reason that Dave Filoni needs to be running Lucasfilm Star Wars. It is just so great, and I can't wait to see what Dave Filoni's gotten up his sleeve for this Star Wars Rebels sequel series and the Clone Wars sequel series. I've got videos on both of those and playlists on the channel if you guys want to check that out about what's going on with those. But Dave Filoni is a very busy man. He's got his hand in everything Star Wars right now. I'm sure he's got a hand in the High Republic. That hasn't been confirmed, but we know he has a hand in the Mandalorian and all of the animated series going on. So Dave Filoni needs to take the helm of Star Wars, and we will continue to get gold like this. So let me know what you guys think about this Vader Anakin parallel at the end of the Clone Wars with a comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. May God bless you and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it!
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.